it's springtime and some people are moving this spring and summer, so there's a lot to do before you get the house on the market. So let me just give you some tips real quick. It is extremely important that you get your house clean and decluttered. That goes such a long way. So many buyers, when they walk in the house, I mean, impression is so important. When they walk through that house and they see it dirty, they just don't even want to finish looking at the house. And I always give my buyers like, hey, if this house isn't for you, let's walk out. Decluttering, because, you know, we're walking through the spaces and we're going through all the rooms, and it's usually multiple people. So I'm usually like going, like sometimes I'm going with like 2 people as a buyers and then myself, and we're like, you know, walking through different things. So decluttering, having clear pathways, and really aesthetics wise, you know, less is more when you're listing your house. It's extremely important that your surfaces are clean, your counters are all decluttered, and it turns out better in pictures. And that's what it really ultimately, like, a great photographer is going to increase your traffic, and getting traffic through your house is the key to getting the most money for your house. So I love to hire a professional photographer that does the wide angles, does like the Photoshop, and makes them all nice and shiny. So we include the professional photographer, the 3D Matterport, and I like to do the aerial because so many times my buyers are military, they're moving from different states, sometimes overseas. You know, as much as I'd use my GoPro and my, you know, like my phone, either FaceTime or recording, the aerials, like, they get to see the neighbors, they get to see what's behind the house, that kind of thing. It really gives them a view, and that's really important to buyers. I mean, I'm always trying to like peek over the fence going, hey, what is, you know, what does it look over here? So it's important what your neighbors look like, you know, what's behind it. You know, nobody wants to buy a house that behind it is a, you know, I don't know, just there's all different kinds of scenarios, so I just want to keep it positive. Anyways, so and paint, also it occurred to me, because it's like nice, and the weather's warming up, so, you know, people get out their pressure washers, power wash the deck, give it a fresh coat of paint. That's for exterior wise. In the house, we get a lot of, you know, high traffic areas. We just live in our houses, things get dinged up, furniture scratches the sides and stuff. So as you take things away and declutter, you might as well just purge and get rid of the stuff you don't use, and get rid, you know, and you can always store your extra stuff in the garage. So that's important. You know, that's just, people just sort of usually take a peek in the garage. I like to look in there and make sure it doesn't like smell, because, you know, humidity usually, you know, that's usually a tattletale sign. But pull out that paint and paint your, you know, freshen up. It goes a long way. So impression is so important. And I was like, Lisa Morgan, you taught me something fantastic, is that, you know, first impression, getting your house ready, because I almost did it with my own house, is listing my house, and I was like in a hurry. I was like, okay, I'll just get listed the way it is, and she's like, no. So she was like, stage it. So that was the first time I actually hired as a realtor. That was like 10 years ago. I hired our realtor friend, or I'm sorry, she's a stager, my realtor friend, a stager, and staged up our house, and she made me move furniture, and I didn't agree, but it looked so much better. And, you know, over the years I have hired a professional stager to help with staging the house. I now keep an inventory of things. I just go for what's trendy. I use a lot of my own judgment, because I am getting the feedback all the time from my buyers, and I know what they're looking for, what they're commenting to each other, and so it is extremely important for the buyer. But for the most part, I do have staging. Green looks great. You know, little touches. Even my friend who had a beautiful house, you know, I mean, we just, you know, things, we get older, and so things get dated. And so I pulled out some of her dated flowers, put some new style, and it just made it a little bit more, give it a little, like, she liked all the little touches that I put in. But sometimes I go out full, you know, just full staging. And sometimes, you know, when the houses are vacant, you look at the picture and you're sort of like, you don't know what you're looking at. And sometimes the rooms, you can't tell which angle, if it's the same, you know, especially if it's all the same colors around the room, you know. So I believe that furniture helps frame out the room. So you're like, okay, that furniture, that dining room, it's a different angle, it's from here. So it helps place people in perspective. And also, hey, you know, I mean, of course I use air mattresses. I'll tell you the secret. I'm like, I use air mattresses for my bedroom, you know, or, you know, I usually do like the master bedroom. And I put a do not sit there, but it frames out the room. So you don't have this big empty, you know, so just, it makes it warmth. It adds so much. I mean, sometimes I add curtains and, you know, I try not to give those away every time, but it just gives it a touch. It gives it a feel. It makes it feel homey, you know, putting those little things on the kitchen counter and little towels, you know, it makes a difference. And so staging is really important. So reach out to me if you want more tips. Follow me, and if you want more tips, anyways, message me. And if you really want to have me walk through and give you ideas, a lot of times I do this for my sellers, is I walk through the house and I give them feedback, and I tell them, sorry, I'm gonna be honest, and sometimes the list can be overwhelming, and I'm like, don't hate me, but I do tell them it's going to be for their best interest. They're going to get the most for their money. So if you don't do it, that's fine. I'll sell the house the best you're able to show it. But most people, you know, it's your biggest investment to sell your home, and it does matter. So feel free to reach out to me. I walk through the house, give you pointers, give you a task. Sometimes people take a couple of weeks. Sometimes people take a couple of months to get through the list. I mean, I had one friend who had a little baby and she just couldn't get through it, you know, 2 little babies. So getting through the list can be a big task, but it's a huge impression. So it's worth it. It's worth your investment in time. But I'll give you my honest feedback, and look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day. All right, bye.